Hey guys, family, rainbow family. My name's Mama Carol. You can call me Mama Carol. You can call me Carol. You can call me anything. I don't care. Um, Channel is Finding a Rainbow Through the Rain. So today, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about safe space. And this just so happened the other night. I know, I didn't even get dressed today. It was like, you know what? It's just me. I'm not going anywhere. Nobody's coming over. So, anyway, the other night, I was laying in my bed, and I just happened to be like really, it was just a very, it was a stressful day, but it really wasn't. But to me, it was a stressful day. And I was in my bed, and I had my comforter wrapped around me, and that's my safe space, And, I started thinking, and I started writing. So I do have notes for this to kind of keep me on track, because I know I tend to go off and, talk, go in all other directions. So I did have notes to keep me on track. I said, grandmas have spent a lifetime holding space for everyone else. Now it's your turn. After years of caregiving, surviving loss, facing health challenges, and staying strong for others, she deserves a place where she can be, just be. To feel her feelings, to rest, to heal, and be seen not just as a grandmother, but as a whole person with her own story. And sometimes I think we just all need that, and it's like kind of when I feel when of course my husband was here, and when the kids were younger especially, I was always referred to as Al's wife, or I was Mary's daughter, or I was April's mom, or Dawn's mom. But it's funny because not a lot of people knew me as Carol, and after the kids grew up, and especially after I lost my husband, it's been almost 5 years, and I'm still fighting to find that identity. So let me know if you're going through that same thing. You have your share of struggles, some of them the quiet ones, the kind nobody sees when you're holding it all together. Sound familiar? I think to myself sometimes, am I supposed to have it all together? Because you think, wow, like, I've been through all this stuff, and, me of all people, I should have it all together. But you know what? No one does. There's no age limit on pain or expiration on healing. Even grandmas get overwhelmed. I know I do. And I deal with stress and anxiety. Clutter anxiety is one of them, which really is the worst. I get anxious if I walk out of my room and I see the kitchen table full of stuff, or the sink full of dishes. And, sometimes, my daughter will be, cleaning out her room, and she'll have a lot of boxes out in the kitchen while she's doing that, or, the TV is loud, and the dogs are running back and forth, and That's the time I kind of excuse myself from the chaos, and I go back in my room, and I bundle myself up in my comforter, and until that feeling of anxiety passes, you know? So I started learning to be gentle with myself, ask for help, breathe a little deeper. You know, so far you just need that, you know? And a lot has changed through that. I also journal. I listen to, I don't want to say meditation videos, but you know, if you go through YouTube and you find like those jazz channels, or there's this channel, a couple of them actually, called Music from Another Room, which is really good. And sometimes I just put that on, and I sit in my recliner, and I just sit there and I close my eyes and I just take in the music and let it bring me down, you know? And probably one of the top things that has helped me is talking to you guys. Because I have realized I'm not alone. Many of y'all go through the same things that I go through. So it's a comfort to know I'm not here just by myself, you know? I have to realize I'm allowed to take a break and rest. My worth is not defined by how much I do. And unfortunately, that's a hard one. Because my whole life seems like it has been determined by what I do, by what I get done. And again, through my adult life, I go through that same thing. And especially with, you know, again, I'll go back to my daughter. If I don't get up and do some dishes, or feed the dogs, or give the dogs water, or put the dogs out, or whatever, I feel like I mean, just plain English, I feel like I'm worthless. Like, you know, like, why am I even here? And that has been tough to get past. And, you know, little by little, I'm getting there. I mean, it was 2 years ago, I had fallen off my deck, and I broke my back. And I really couldn't do anything. And I think that's when I had to humble myself and realize you just can't do it. And another example is yesterday I went to Walmart to get my oil changed. And I was in the back of the store, and I actually had to pick up a few groceries, so I walked out of the auto department, and all I could think ahead of me was, I need to get a cart somewhere, and that is in the front of the store, and I don't know if I'm going to make it. And so I started walking, you know, through the store, and I'm like, usually people abandon their carts all over the place, not yesterday. And there were, so I wound up, like, by the time I made it up to finally get a cart, I was ready to sit down on the floor and cry, because I felt like I could not walk any further. And again, it's all due ever since I broke my back. The pain some days is unbearable. And luckily there was a guy I seen headed towards the door, and he had an electric cart, and I said, are you done with that? And he said, yeah, actually I am. And I mean, I sat down, and it was just like I mean, I was sweating profusely from the pain endorphins, and But it was like, okay, so you just stop for a minute. So I pulled the cart out of the way, and I got into an area where there was nothing there. And I just gave that deep breath. Okay, you're okay. You're okay. You got the cart. You're sitting down. Okay, you can get the things you need to get. It's all good. So, but again, that's where I have to say to myself, you can't do the things that you used to do. And that's been very hard. I've been going through a lot of stuff that that I told my daughter I would give to her, a lot of my eBay, a lot of my Etsy stuff. And it's been very hard going through it, realizing that I'm not going back to that. But, I think yesterday was the eye-opener that said, you can't do this stuff anymore. So if you have to stay to doing digital things on the computer, or let's give 100% dedication to your channel. So anyway, see I went off on that rabbit trail. So, but anyway, okay. In this moment, I choose to breathe deeply, letting go of what I can't control. And I release the pressure to be perfect. It's okay to be exactly where I am. And unfortunately, that hit again. Because when I was younger and growing up, I wanted everything to be perfect. And unfortunately, I grew up with a stepfather that wasn't so happy all the time. And he used to tell me constantly, if I raked the leaves, he would say, oh, it looks okay, but you forgot over here. Oh, you shoveled the sidewalk. That's good, but you could have got over here. So I always strived for that. I remember when I got my report card, and it was all A's and 1 B. And he said, sure would have been nice if you would have got all A's. Now, I knew that I strive for those A's, and that 1 B was, so growing up with that, had that perfectionism in there. I trust myself to handle what comes next. I've had challenges before. My life has been just challenge after challenge after challenge. But you know what? I'm here. And as much as sometimes that devil wanted to beat me down, I rose to the occasion and I said, I will get through this. And again, I feel like I'm talking to somebody. I don't know, but I think I'm talking to somebody who's right where I'm at and feels that same exact way. So, if you got this far in the video, know this. I struggle every day. You're not alone. That's for sure. But this is a safe space for your story, for your healing, for your heart. So if you go through any of these things that I had mentioned, do me a favor. Comment down below. Tell me your story. Tell me something that's going on in your life, and I'm going to look at it and say, girl, boy, man, I know exactly where you're coming from. So I hope this touched somebody today, and let them know that they're not alone. So, anyway, I'm going to go. And I am so looking forward to your comments. But 3 things that I always ask. Number 1, if you like this channel, do me a favor and subscribe. I need subscribers. And number 2, take a look around right where you're at right now. Whether you're in your car or you're in your living room or you're laying in bed watching this, look around. Find one thing today to be grateful for, but actually to smile about. Just something to make you smile. Could be your dog, could be your kids, could be your husband, mother, father, whoever. But there's got to be something in this day to smile about. And number 3, as always, find your rainbow through the rain. Bye.